I think this helps to elaborate the "let the dead bury the dead" quote that I slightly covered on the previous pods. I just heard this. Rotten fruit falls off the branch on its own. You don't have to shake the tree. How people treat others is a debt, and it comes to collect on its own schedule. Their punishment is that they have to live with themselves forever. So don't waste time trying to tear them down. It's already inevitable. Instead, your attention should be entirely on yourself so you can stay on the branch whilst they fall onto the dirt. Well, that was something. Damn. On the tearing down part, and so you can stay on the branch whilst they fall into the dirt. If you fall for the tricks of moving in their ways and judging and being like cheering, if you've observed or hear them hitting the dirt, or moving in them ways of trying to tear them down, you just exactly the same as them then. And I think Confucius said, if you seek revenge, you might as well dig 2 graves. Well, yeah, one for them and one for yourself, because you're moving in death ways, basically. It's just a shadow and the ego trying to take over again. Best to just, like it said, focus on yourself. Staying true to yourself and your cultivation of abundance, and the real ones will communicate truly and have more willingness to understand. If there's also been a miscommunication, let's say you was in a group, there was a miscommunication, and all of them, or majority of them, instantly side with what the miscommunication was against you, then they was never truly your proper friends. And probably in them cases it's a bit of a blessing, really, because time reveals all. Time reveals all, and you can just thank them little happenings for revealing who are the real from the fakes, sort of thing. And the ego is probably gonna want to try to be convincing you about justice and truth, and the right needs to be known, what actually happened or what it actually was. But just don't even fall for it. It's just another trick, and then you'll just fall into the game further of maybe what they want. They want you to come from. They may want you to come from a position of over explaining or justifying yourself, and then accuse you of being the portrayer, if that's the right word, further more on, because now they're taking some sort of hierarchy stance, that they're the judge and jury and all this kind of stuff. One of the highest forms of peace is willingness, that's what it's called, to not be seen or understood or whatever, something like that. Can't remember it. Basically, what I'm saying is, don't waste your time trying to communicate with people who are already loyal to the agenda or assumptions. No, perspective. Don't waste your time explaining yourself to people who are already loyal to the perspective they've created of you in their heads. The spirit knows that nothing can be taken personally unless it is being possessed by the flesh, because the flesh is of this world, and the flesh is in this world and of this world, but the spirit is in the world but not of the world. So best to learn how to not take things personally. That's practices of the flesh, because the flesh is of ego, character, person, identity, persona, personality. It's a false what's that word? Idiism. I'm not sure. Anyway, don't take people's passive-aggressive, silent treatment, blame, or projection personally. Often it's a reflection of their inability to communicate directly and to manage their own unpleasant emotions. Their behavior can still hurt you, but you do not have to tolerate it. Just because you're able to understand the possibilities of where someone's hurt is coming from does not mean and justify it in any sense that you should be willingly accepting any form of abuse. How to take things less personally also could be capturing the first thought before the first thought starts to become a story that your brain is creating. And in CBT, it's called personalization, where your brain will create interpretations that aren't facts but will seem as if they're true and reality. Like if someone was to take a little while to text back, or is silent for a while, the brain will make up a story that they're mad with me or I've done something wrong, and it will catastrophize some sort of foolery. Like I said in the last podcast at the end about asking yourself, thank you, okay, what's the next thought? Maybe you can do that little practice when you've noticed the thought or the story that's being played by the mind, and then if you come back into conscious awareness of what's happening, you can ask yourself or ask the mind, if you want to practice a slight dissociation, what story is the mind telling me right now, and what are the facts? Or even a little joke in the way of saying it, like, what a story to tell yourself. Jeez, if left like unaware, unconscious, the brain creates its own stories that are completely myth, and then it generates the pain of them stories as if it's a true reality. If gone unchecked, it's pretty amazing, you have to admit, to be fair. Like, in a simple term, you can just do practicing thinking the opposite as well. after you've come back and noticed that little whirlpool of spiral of thought and story, emotion, energy, you can then tell the story of the opposite, or add some next other stories as well. You become back in control of this untamed mind, and notice that there are many that's a nice word, plurifera. I don't know if I can say that word properly. Plurifera. There's an infinite plurifera of assumptions and possibilities, and I guess doing that, practicing that, so also will help with critical thinking and metacognition. Doing these things more give a healthier approach and the understanding of how your emotions may be real, but they may not be giving an accurate depiction of what is the true reality. We don't see things as they truly are, we see things as we are inside. And if a lot of what's going on inside is avoided and allowed to go unchecked for a while long, then it would just, as if we aren't already, it will just distort the reality more. When we accept our feelings as facts internally as being the same facts externally, it's pretty crazy how much of a blind spot it creates, and it's almost grandiose, like it's very self-absorbed. And then when you find other people that share the exact same feelings and believe them to be facts as well, and then we worship them like a tribalistic, like group thing, shit gets pretty dangerous, man. It's amazing. It's quite a trip, really, this whole life thing we call life and all that. It's pretty wormhole like, portal like. A random sentence just came to me, though. I guess you could relate it to the rotten fruit, fallen branches falling, the rotten fruit falls on its own type thing. And then the basket, one fruit spoils the bunch, one rotten fruit. Oh, bloody hell. Oh, that sentence that came to me is be mindful of the people you listen to, because people are kind of like portals, and a lot of the time I think it's pretty difficult to actually be speaking to a human person. Carl Jung's coming to mind now, that people aren't possessed. People don't possess beliefs and ideas. Ideas and beliefs possess people. So then, wow, geez, I forgot the words. Ideologues. No idea. Just for conversation, for conversation purposes, for me, it's just like antics of the flesh, kind of. I'd much rather, I'd prefer kind of But I'd like to see what it'd be like for the world if it was just like mute. And we just communicated through art and music, maybe? I think that'd probably be a very, very infantile-like form of sign language, but it would be no advanced, like you can speak in sentences, sign language sort of vibe. I'm not sure. It would be interesting to me though, because people are only gonna interpretate, I don't know, just language in general, everything, just to me it seems everything gets lost in translation. And I try also my best to communicate, but it's like, it's not easy. In my head I can speak so fluently and clear, but then when I try to speak it out, like what the? And then sometimes I do wonder to myself, like, what is the point? It's cute of us to try the whole communication thing, but like, I think it's also healthy to remember that people can only meet you at a depth of how they've met themselves. At the depth of they've met themselves is at the depth they can meet and resonate with your expression. But still, no one can truly get you 100% because everyone has their own path and life and all of that. Anyway, well, let's do the poem pod, word pod, gratitude pod, and the question pod. Oh gosh. Okay, here's the poem pod. Go ride my bike into nature, breathe in that shit. Flick a bitch in a clit, tell her to suck my armpits. Tell her I gotta look after my mental health. Told her I was sweaty, but in actuality I pissed myself. Yeah, I don't know, don't ask. Yikes. Okay, the word pod, word a day. I think word a day sounds better. Yeah. Is petrichor. Petrichor is a pleasant, earthly, and distinct smell that fills the air when rain hits on a dry soil or ground after a long dry spell. But yeah, that felt like an effort to get out. The 3 things I'm grateful for this pod. Grateful for art, metacognition, juices, and smoothies. Yeah, that's great. Oh. And the question of the pod. If I am, what am I tolerating from myself or others that I shouldn't be tolerating? Have a smoke on it, get back to me if it's not too private, too personal. Yeah, thanks for listening. Stay grateful, stay blessed, stay practical.